Typhoon Tino, also known as Kalmaegi, is nearing landfall, and over the course of the next few hours, this is already coming on shore here, likely to pass over a few of the small islands before coming on shore into central Leyte, more than likely here just south of MacArthur. In fact, you just take a look at the microwave imagery, you can see our eye wall wrapping up, and in the infrared, you really can't see through those upper level cirrus clouds, but the microwave, you peer through that, kind of see where exactly this is headed off here towards the west. And this is why the Dinaga Islands, southern Leyte, all under a signal force 4, because that's kind of where the eye wall is up here, and even northern areas of Bohol, Cebu under signal force 3. Hopefully by the time it gets to you, it does start to weaken just a bit here, and you're going to see more of a severe tropical storm force winds. But you know, even Bagyo does carry it as a typhoon all across Visayas and over towards northern Palawan before heading off there towards Vietnam. And then the similar towards JTWC has it at 80 knots, still at about 85 knots, so about a Cat 2 as it passes on shore there into Leyte and then moving further off towards the west. But it's really all about that core, or that inner core of the winds. That's where you're going to be seeing the highest wind here. So basically inner core right about in there. And this is why, you know, southern Leyte and northern areas of Bohol all under kind of that signal force 4. That's where you're going to be seeing kind of the core of this inner eye wall right along that stretch here. Now, it doesn't mean if you're south or north of that, especially north of it, you're out of the woods. You still have the wraparound. This is definitely still at very least severe tropical storm strength conditions. And the water's getting thrusted up along the coast here, so that I do still believe low-lying areas there along the east coast of Leyte are going to be looking at some sort of storm surge. But at least at this time, I mean, we are at the point where I mean, I just talked to somebody out of Siargao. They said they're shutting down the power at this point. So a lot of people that are going to be impacted directly by this near the coast may not be able to watch this at this point because power already kind of going out in a few spots outside of people who have generators. But this is not Odette or Yolanda. I'm going to have you take a deep breath and think about that for a second. But it is still a typhoon, and it's not one to be taken lightly. I mean, we see these type of storms that are not super typhoons still have some pretty big impacts. Landfall is currently taking place here. Expect this to pass near Cebu as we go ahead into the morning. And could there be another storm behind us? Potentially. And I'll talk more about that. But right now, let's talk about our storm on hand. And, you know, yesterday this did make that little jog towards the south. And, yeah, unfortunately, that did bring places like Siargao closer into the picture and Metro Cebu a little bit closer into the picture. That's why I still think Metro Cebu is probably going to see winds 100 to 120 kilometers per hour as it passes just by there, then kicks off further towards the west, and then we see this passing just north of Palawan. But once again, closer to the east coast, so that means Leyte, Dinaga Islands, northern areas of Bohol, all going to be under that signal force 4, or are under that signal force 4. And then, by the way, as this moves out to the West Philippine Sea, it does start to re-intensify. Kind of one, due to the very warm sea surface temperatures out there, but two, the interaction with the northeast monsoon is kind of increasing that gradient-induced wind. And this is a closer view here through the rest of tonight. So this is showing 11 p.m. the next few hours coming on shore there into central areas of Leyte, passing just over Cebu as we go ahead into the morning, and then watching this move past the Sulu Sea through the evening. And then by Wednesday morning, this is all gone. It's all off towards the west, and you're enjoying your Wednesday, I suppose. So yeah, that's the big thing right now. We're just going to continue to track this as it moves on shore. Check out Western Pacific Weather on Facebook. We got plenty of different posts on this too there. Starting to get some videos coming in, and we'll be sharing those with you as well. And if you do have any videos or impacts in your area that you can take and share safely, we would like to see that so we can share it to everybody else and get more people informed on this. But know your information through those official sources, please. Number one thing, if you are being told to evacuate, please do. Sometimes it may seem like it's not, you know, it doesn't need to happen, but always better to be safe than sorry. And check and prepare your emergency go kit, even if you're in Cebu and you're watching this. So you're further inland, and I just told you you're not getting hit by a super typhoon. You can still make those small preps, like just make sure all your important documents are in one place. And if you do those small preps now, you won't have to do it later in the event of a different storm or the next storm, because there's always going to be a next storm, right? So this may not be a super typhoon, but one is coming one day, right? So yeah, right now though, as I mentioned, this is right near landfall. We're gonna watch this one come on shore here today, and hopefully everybody's staying safe. But inner core of that, starting to near some of the islands just north of Siargao, Santa Monica, probably at this time starting to see kind of some of the worst of it. Same with Guineon. I always say that wrong. General MacArthur, but Tacloban, it might just miss out on the worst of this. I think it's just south of where you're going to have the core of those kind of straight up typhoon strength winds, but I still worry about coastal flooding there. Not a Yolanda type storm surge, but more like king tide plus a couple feet type surge. You know what I'm talking about right there. So those very low-lying, more vulnerable low-lying coastal communities, and unfortunately at times the vulnerable low-lying areas are also the more vulnerable people that live in those areas, and they could be impacted a bit more from some of that coastal flooding in some of those spots. So that's another thing I just want to stress and point out here as we see this make a landfall. And this is just another view. There you go. So I think the ECMWF has this pretty accurate with that landfall right around MacArthur here, south of Tacloban. But like I said, those still the winds. And then by the time this starts going through the islands, by the way, a lot of people asking it's going to weaken. Yeah, but then we worry about other things. Worry about funneling. This is going to still run over water in a few spots, so it's going to kind of maintain its act together. You see here, this is into the morning for Cebu. You get that strong southerly wind kicking up. It's not directly. It's not right overhead. Still some decent southerly winds, but I think central and northern areas of the island are going to get kind of the worst impacts. And then it heads further towards the west, and we see this pass out towards the Sulu Sea and regains that strength pretty quickly. So it does hit a few islands, but at the same time, it's over water a lot during this whole passage over the Philippines. So yeah. All right, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Try my best to keep you informed. If you want to support this channel, though, check out our Patreon. Link is down below. Or if you're new to the channel, at the very least, could you please do me a solid and hit that subscribe button? That helps get this word out. I mean, we get this more people watching these videos. The algorithm picks it up a little bit more. It's just the nature of the beast. So, yeah, if you don't mind doing that, I truly would appreciate it. But for today, I hope everybody is staying safe out there. See the forecast for our Tuesday here. It's a wet one across Visayas. I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta. Thanks for watching.